Hello, and welcome to my Art Update podcast thingy. This is update number 109, Paralysis. This podcast is designed to keep people who know me, Andrew Woolner, up to date about what is going on for me in general, artistically. Some life updates are bound to get rolled into that because sometimes these things need context. So if you know me, you're welcome here, but, whatever. This is just for people who are interested. If you don't know me, you're also welcome to listen, but you might be missing out context that people who know me have that I'm just not going to fill in because I'm lazy like that. If you're just joining now, if this is your first update, you might want to check out updates 1, 2, 52, and 98. Those are going to bring you up to date on everything I've been doing for the last 20 some odd years. I would stick with those and advise against binging all the updates. I didn't record them to be listened to like that. Yeah, anyway, I'm calling this update Paralysis because that's how I felt for the last 5 days. So, let me do the updates first, and then we'll circle back to this. So, here we go. Art updates, YTG updates, interference. The show happened. There was no dress rehearsal. And look, my shows are always pretty chaotic, but this one really took the cake. There were just, so many things that were predictable and some that weren't predictable. I wouldn't say predictable. Some things that were avoidable or unavoidable, but yeah, there were things that were unavoidable. Like, for instance, the day of the dress rehearsal, just through sheer chance, both the toddlers were in the space. So Barbara's daughter and Sarah's son. And we just literally couldn't rehearse. I couldn't even do things like set up cameras because until David, who I'll talk about in a minute, got there in the afternoon, I couldn't set the camera down and then walk away from it to check that it was hooked up properly without risking a kid knocking it over or putting their hand on it or something, because I needed to set the position before I taped down the tripod. Anyway, so just that's just an example, but we couldn't rehearse. We didn't have a dress rehearsal. And then I wanted to do a dress rehearsal the morning of, and so I, set a call time, 10 a.m., and I think this is for a show at 3 p.m., and I wanted to make sure we had a nice break. People didn't start trickling in till, 11:15. Not everybody. My technicians were on time. But yeah, so I thought my idea was that we'd start running. We'd do our dress rehearsal at 11, but the fact is nobody was there no one was there early enough to start, and some people weren't even there at 11. So we had to stumble through it. And Barbara's husband got sick, so she actually didn't even make the dress rehearsal. We did the dress rehearsal mostly without her, and then she was in for part of it, and then at 1 o'clock I just called it. We were almost done, and I just was like, no, we're done, because I need 2 hours to prep for the 3 o'clock show. I need to have at least an hour break before we're all supposedly back on the ball at 2. So that's what I did. Anyway, I'm still kind of processing interference. The fact is, it's not really a YTG show in a way, right? As I mentioned last time, 2 weeks ago, Barbara has a singular artistic vision, and I felt like everything I did, I wasn't even in support of that, but was sort of directly servicing that without bringing my own, artistic ideas to bear, which I think is fine. And I think that's good. It's good for an artist to have that vision, but that's not the way YTG works. So I don't know how we're going ahead with this. I'm not even sure that interference needs to be a staged work. I actually think they would be better. She and Marco would be better off essentially filming their screenplay or scene ideas, kind of like we did for the show, where you just, you take a weekend, you stage one of the scenes, you make the props out of cardboard or whatever, you film it with a phone, and then you just sort of post these things regularly. So you have them coming out twice a month or something like that on YouTube. And then in the end, you can edit that into this film, and then use that to get the budget to make the movie. I mean, that's how I think I would do it at this point. There's nothing about this piece that screams it needs a live audience. I mean, look, there's some installation portions, but that's really the one element that I think benefited from having the audience and was the ultrasonic speaker, which is very cool. And I don't know. I mean, this was supposed to turn into a film anyway, so like what was the point? What was the point, but like that scene that required the live audience is not something that's going to be part of a film. So yeah, no, I feel like they should be shooting these things as shorts that can be joined together at a later date, and like just wing every scene and do it real sort of, if like you have a spaceship, have it dangling from a fishing line, like really just go super practical with the effects, and just really basic stuff. That's what I would do with it. I think that would probably service this artistic endeavor. But anyway, we'll have to have a discussion. I also didn't get any good archival shots. I'll post a few for you. But what happened is because we were kind of rushing. We were kind of rushing after the final show to get out, and so I'd set up the end of show expecting that there would be 8 of us doing the strike. But then, Barbara's daughter got sick. Was it her daughter at that point? Oh, no, sorry, yeah, her husband wasn't sick the other day. He was just not up. Anyway, her husband was sick, so she had to run back home right after. Florencia had to leave after she's flying out the next day, and I didn't realize that. And that also meant that Barbara's husband didn't come, and with his friend to like take down the back panels and stuff. So those were 4 people I was expecting to be there. So the strike crew is like me, David, Lucille, Miku. So sort of knowing this after the show was over, I was like, okay, we got to do a quick archival photo shoot. But I didn't have a photographer on hand. I'm in it. I couldn't take the photos. So I passed the camera over to David and sort of set up the shots a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to talk in a minute about how great David is. But one thing he does not know, he just does not have a lot of experience operating a mirrorless camera for stills, I guess. So he's got a mirrorless camera, but I think he has it on auto mode a lot. And yeah. Anyway, so I didn't get a lot of great photos out of it. I got a few, but only of the 2 main scenes. I just knew it was going to take a while to do the strike, so I was trying to rush through the archival shoot, and I got the key things. I am loving the new team members. Oh yeah, I mean, like Sarah had to go back. We knew that she had to leave early. Anyway, I am loving the new team members: Lucille, Miku, and David. Lucille is, I've got her for 5 months. She's an intern from France. She was studying at a Japanese university, and her background is in project management. So I'm hoping that's going to come in real handy. We're going to sit down next week and start working out the plans. That's actually partly one of the reasons I'm pushing that project management software so hard that I'll be talking about. Miku is a high schooler, and I got someone from her school last year who was with us for like 3 days. Miku looks like she's going to be with us. She's still in school right now, so she wasn't with us a lot for this show, but she probably did put in about 5 or 6 days of being on site. And for the summer show, she'll probably be in the show, as well as doing some ASM stuff, assistant stage management. And yeah, so she'll be with us through to the end of July. So that's good. And both those 2, actually all 3 of them. Let me talk about David. David is a teacher at a local international school, one of the big ones. He's a music teacher there. And he came in and just was like, I could just drop him on the sound desk, explain to him how things worked, and he just kind of got things done. And all 3 of them, they're really good at sort of figuring out what needs to get done and doing it. They're all really good at doing new things. They're all really good at climbing ladders, which is a rarity. Usually I have people who are like, even if they're competent, they really don't want to climb ladders and do the lighting stuff, or take down curtains and stuff like that. And all 3 of them were amazing. I mean, yes, it did take us like 3.5, maybe 4 hours to do the strike because we were a small team, but we got it done, and it would have taken longer if I'd had sort of not necessarily the usual people who I'm working with, but yeah, the usual people who just need a lot more instruction. If I just had sort of 3 random people who weren't able to sort of identify tasks and get them done. I am really looking forward to working them, because that a Freudian slip, working with them on upcoming projects. Anyway, I'm going to leave off anxiety for now, interference, and move on to anxiety, which is the show that's coming in from the US. No real updates on that. I'm going to connect with Davian at the end of the month. I am a little bit concerned about the level of commitment that this show has turned into. So originally I was going to get someone else to direct. I think I've talked about this before. I was expecting Tanya Koch to direct, and turns out she ended up last minute with another obligation during the summer. It's not last minute sort of in terms of planning. And I have the personnel to do this, but so I have an intern, Jana, coming in from the Netherlands, who's going to direct the movement stuff. But I will have to be like the main director. So she and I are going to co-direct, which means that my original plan for anxiety was to spend 1 day a week in the rehearsal room on average, or 1.5, and then spend 1 to 2 days, probably 2 days a week in interference. But now, if I'm directing this, I've got to be there 3 days a week. Like Jana and I are going to both be there like on average 2 to 3 days a week. Because we'll have 1 day that overlaps, and then she'll have 1 day solo probably, and then I'll have 2 days solo. So 3 days a week for me. And then during this period, I'm teaching at the university. So that's 1 day a week teaching. And then I got 1 other day for all my other commitments. The math just isn't mathing here. So I need to figure this out. So that's my concern right now about the summer. All right, other updates. Nerd Night. Next event is April 18th. It's called Rockets and Reality. We've got Edita Ziminska. I'll have to learn better how to pronounce her name before the event. She's going to talk about rotating detonation engines, a promising new technology for space propulsion. I'm just sort of imagining this as I say it, with this engine turning around and just like farting out explosions at the back. And Stephen Black is going to do some AR demos. So if you're able to come down in person, I would check that out. Tokyo.nerdnight.com. Nerd Night is one word. Nerdnite. Yep, that's right. Night is spelled Nite. Not my decision. So if you're able to come down, that would be fantastic. If you're able to watch it online, I'm not sure you'll get as much out of the AR demo, but the rockets... The rocket engine talk will probably be interesting. That will be live streamed, so you will be able to watch it. And the live stream is free. If you come in person, it's 1,000 yen, which is cheap for an event in Tokyo. And that will be at our usual venue, going back to our usual venue in Sugamo called Ryozen Park Lounge. So that's what's happening. My big fear about this event is I basically raided my cable supply for interference, and things aren't organized anymore, so I'm worried about the setup. At Ryozen. Photography stuff. Still waiting for money. I was told I was going to get paid in March. It is now April 11th as I record this, and I'm still waiting for money. I finished editing the kids shoot that I did for my son's after-school club graduation the other week, and I have sent that on to them. I don't think there's anything there I'm going to put out on the mailing list for you guys. There's nothing. Look, I took good photos, but there's nothing worth showing you, if that makes any sense. No other updates on any of the other projects right now. And I just want to talk briefly about the title of this episode, this update. I shouldn't call them episodes, they're not episodes. This update. Paralysis. Oh, wait, hold on. Before that, one other brain fart I forgot to mention, I forgot to write down in my script, is that I'm going back, there's this idea I had for a play that I then turned into an idea for an audio drama. I can't remember if it ever had a title, but I think it's becoming more relevant with the way large language models, sometimes dubbed AI, but they're not really intelligent, so I'll call them large language models or algorithms. So the way these algorithms are becoming more prominent and prompting discussion about how we align our machines, machine alignment. How do we make sure they do things that we want them to do and don't do things we don't want them to do that are antisocial? And I don't mean smoking clove cigarettes and sitting in the back of the room at the party. I mean antisocial, like killing us all. So I have a script that I started on that years ago with a co-writer who was interning with me, and I want to revisit that hopefully with Erin Banting. So I'm trying to get in touch with her again. Yeah, and I'd like to turn this into an audio drama. So I've just put something else on my plate when I don't have any room on my plate. And I still have podcast episodes to edit from 2022 or 2021 or whatever the hell that was. Anyway, sorry. Back to paralysis. This is what I'm talking about. I'm experiencing severe executive dysfunction this week. I'm spinning my wheels, chasing things that aren't priorities, or maybe they are. That's the problem. I can't figure it out. So, for instance, like I mentioned earlier, project management tools. I've been spinning up self-hosted project management tools because I can't afford the ones that are available. I mean, I'm using Trello right now, but I need things like Gantt charts and stuff like that you can get on Trello, but then you have to pay it. Like, anyway, it's costly. The point is, I'm trying to find something I need that's free and that not only I can use, but Lucille can use as well, as she's going to be helping me manage these projects. But also all the actors and technicians and blah 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 blah. They need to be able to interface with this product, at least on the level of the Kanban board, at least being able to see cards and getting notifications of tasks and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to figure this out. And yeah, I won't go into details about, like, I found a solution, but there's no app for it. And it's sort of, that's a problem because I think push notifications are really important. So I'm looking for paid things that integrate with Trello. So anyway, this is this whole rabbit hole. Mostly, yeah, I want to leverage Lucille's experience to really solidly plan out anxiety and create a template for all future events, because that will take some of this executive pressure off me. So, but look, even while I was writing the script for this, such as it is, for this update, I took a 10-minute detour to check out another piece of software that I'd suddenly had the compunction to research. And I'm doing the same thing for accounting, because my online solution at the moment last year, they dropped the affordable option of multiple currencies. And that causes me, every time I do a transaction, like an expense in, say, Canadian dollars, or receive money in, say, US dollars, I have to do all these workarounds in order to convert that money. I can't go right to doing the expense. I have to take that money, transfer it to a conversion account, and then I can use that account to pay the expense in Japanese yen. Anyway, so this has led to backlogs. So, not just that, but doing the research to find a new solution has led to backlogs in dealing with show finances, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and then yesterday I spent, and this was necessary, but this has got nothing to do with, executive paralysis, because I did execute this, but I spent 4 or 5 hours trying to buy plane tickets to Canada. And yeah, like I said, less executive dysfunction and more just having to deal with the Air Canada website and having multiple windows opened with multiple accounts logged in, because you can't compare prices. You have to actually go through the whole process to the end, see what the total is, because the taxes don't get added, the surcharges don't get added in until the end, see what the charges are, and then compare it to something on the other screen, which is not helped by the fact that they change their prices on an hourly basis. But even day to day, right? So I checked on Wednesday, and the price to fly me and the kid directly to Toronto and back was 520 yen, right? And then I checked yesterday, and it was 470 something yen. Like, that's a huge difference. That's like 60,000, what's that, 60,000 yen difference, 50,000 yen difference? That's like a $500 difference. And it matters. It really matters. And so, and then I'm like figuring out, can we use points? So I'm going through and I'm trying to figure out the points thing. And then the website logs you out. And if you're not at the computer when it does it, you don't actually see the thing that logs you out, and it takes you back to the search screen. So if you're logged in, you're on the search screen, and you come back, that gets reset. And that sometimes also resets the number of people who are traveling. And so when I was checking how much things would cost with points, I was searching for one person, not two, and I miscalculated how much. It's just endless. It's endless. 4 or 5 hours it took me to buy plane tickets. Like this, it's ridiculous. And this whole this stuff has led me to put off other things I need to do. One major thing, for instance, is planning the start of classes next Tuesday, because I'm rewriting my lesson. I've decided why. Why have I done this? I've decided I'm going to rewrite my lesson plan. Actually, why I've done this, I have done this because I'm tired of forcing students who don't want to be there to do the activities. Right? I want to create a consent-based classroom that invites the students to participate. And I mean, I had to give grades, so they get penalized for not participating. So I had to figure out, how do I make that clear at the beginning? How do I deal with, just how do I set up that classroom so those who want to participate can come in close, and those that don't want to participate can move away and not participate? How do I do that? And what do I do with the inevitable disruptive students in those classes? Like, what happened last year is I got so tired of scolding. I don't want to be that teacher. I don't want to keep scolding these kids, right? I want to encourage them to participate. I need to find a way of giving them sort of instant feedback. And it's so hard because I don't know their names, right? For a long time. Last year, my class started off with 70 people. We had to do a lottery just to get it down to like 50, I think, or 40 something, 45. I can't remember what it was. I can't instantly give them feedback. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Yeah. So that's what I got to do. That's something else I've been putting off. But I'm doing project management this afternoon. I'm doing class stuff over the weekend. Oh my God, it's almost 2:30. Okay, let's see. Yeah, project management stuff. Yeah, I hadn't said that yet. This is part of this thing. It's been weeks since I've done any of my project management classes. I'm intending to do that this afternoon after recording this. I'll probably post this on the weekend rather than on Friday when I record this. But yeah, I've declared I'm going to do that, but am I? Am I going to do the class thing instead? Am I going to keep searching for project management tools? I don't know. I mean, I was going to do the classes yesterday afternoon, but then I decided it was more important to hack my Kindle. Why? I don't know. And then I went off and I installed a recipe organizer on my Linux server. Why? I don't know. It seemed important at the time. I'm feeling so overwhelmed by stuff that I can't decide what to do next. Maybe this is why my brain is telling me to get into gear on this project management setup. So that's where I am. Oh yeah, and that thing I talked about, the tickets, those are booked. They're booked, and I'm going to be in Canada with the kid from July 31st to September 25th. So if you want to hang out with someone who can't do stuff properly, let me know. Andrew out.